Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing part 3 of the layout share of the layouts that I finished on the weekend at a crop I was at. I have 7 bins of layouts that need photos, and so I took a couple bins to the retreat and brought my selfie printer, and Friday night I started around 3 o'clock and I just started looking for photos and printing them. And then I did about 45 layouts that night. And then Saturday, the ones that I had printed off, I added to the layouts and added any enamel dots or titles. And then Sunday, I did about 20 more layouts and found photos and printed them off and added those to the layouts. So I used to do traditional type scrapbooking, and then when digital photos came into play, I just was not good about keeping my photos organized on my computer, and then it just got to be too much to try to find photos right away. So I would just make layouts and try to find photos after that. So I just thought I would share all these layouts. You may have seen some of these layouts before, but they didn't have photos on them. So I just thought I would share all these. I've posted in a few Facebook groups how I went to crop and did all this, and people had questions and wanted to see the layouts. So I thought I would share them. So sit back and enjoy, and hopefully you get some inspiration. So this layout was based on a sketch, and this is using an older, I believe this was an Echo Park line, and it was nice to use that in my stash. And so I had everything done except the photo. So I've got a cluster up here, and then one here, and then one here. I used my dies to make some bases. I used 3 scallops stitched circles as the base to add all the embellishments to. And then I remembered this photo of our youngest son when we were at the cabin and down at the lake, of him and our dog Trinity. She's no longer with us, and I decided that that photo would look great with this scrapbook page, and I think it really looks good on this page. Sorry, I can't find my words today. My throat is really dry. This layout was using a sketch that I had found on Pinterest, and I had everything done except the photos. And this is photos from July 1st. We always have a parade in our little town, and they throw out candy, so my granddaughter is just anxiously waiting for the parade to go by so they can collect the candy and put it in their bags. So yeah, I printed off 2 photos of my husband and granddaughter, and then granddaughter and our son, and I used some dies to cut out the hearts, added a bunch of the what do you call these, brads, and had the title down here beforehand. Yeah, it's a simple layout, but I really like how it turned out. This one here I think is using that same collection. If I remember correctly, it's a Simple Stories summer collection. This one again, once I had the photos on, that was the only thing I needed to add. I realized it needed something. It still needed a pop. There was too much white. So I added this yellow 12 by 12 piece of paper. And so I just went through our photos from a summer vacation that we'd taken to Spokane, and the cabin that we used to go to. They're from 2 different holidays, but they both made me think of summer. So, and yeah, And that was based on a sketch as well. This one, I had this piece of paper cut out because I wanted to use 2x3 photos, and I originally thought I was going to go with kind of a summer vibe for this layout. I had everything all done except for the photos, but then I remembered there was a few photos of my granddaughter kind of playing dress up, and the title Just Chilling kind of, to me, fitted with that. So there's two kind of dress up ones, and then two where she's dressed up, but more, these are kind of more professional photos. So cluster here of the embellishments here, and then just another one there, and then the title. And this is using a Vicki Boutin line. I think it was that Sweet Rush collection. And I remembered she had blue in that dress and the pink, and I thought that would go fun with this paper and the yellow as well. So this one is using a fall collection. I want to say it's Echo Park collection. I used a bunch of stuff from my stash. I used some dies to cut out some leaves, and I like to do fall layouts because I love fall. But I never seem to get really good fall pictures because by the time the leaves change, the wind comes up and then all the leaves are gone. So these were older photos. It's hard to see, but there's a dog in this one picture here. And we knew we were going to have to put down our dog. So we went and just took some casual kind of family pictures with the dog. And we just went down to the river down by our house. Well, it's not by our house, but in the vicinity of our house, and just took some fall pictures. And as you can see, a lot of the trees were already missing their leaves, but I thought there was enough fall color in there to give the vibe of fall for this layout. And the photos aren't the greatest. It was using like I want to say it was a pre-digital camera, so yeah, they're older photos. But yeah, I thought this turned out great, and again, using that same sort of sketch idea that I've used in other layouts. This one was based on a sketch from Scrapbook Generation. I think it was during National Scrapbook Weekend, so it was a paid sketch, so I can't show the sketch, but basically it was just a bunch of tags here. And so this was using another Jen Hadfield, that Jen Hadfield collection. And again, it's not a school themed collection, but I like the Keep Dreaming title that I had here, which was already on the layout. And I remembered there was pictures of my granddaughter with her big backpack and her yellow rubber boots waiting for the school bus. So I thought those would look great on the layout, and I think they really do look great because there's yellow in the papers and kind of nature kind of looking colors in the tags and pictures as well. And so yeah, I just used a bunch of dies from my stash and cut out papers with the dies and added some twine, and yeah, really like how this one turned out. This one is using that same Paige Evans collection, and again another Scrap a sketch, and so I had everything done except for the photo. And I had a file in my Google Photos of pictures of my granddaughter that I had taken off Facebook. And so I started looking through that little folder and found this picture of my granddaughter at a fair, and she had this purple coat on, and there's purple in the paper. So I thought this would go well in it. You know, when I look at this, I think I had the photo first and then made the layout. So again, you know, was able to find a photo that would fit the layout. And this photo, this layout I made last year, and this photo's an older one. Using that same fall collection that I showed in a layout just a bit ago, I had this layout all made, and I just needed to add photos. Mostly used my stash stuff in the collection for this one, I think. May have added stuff from other collections, but like I say, I don't have a lot of fall photos, but I like to decorate for fall. So I added a photo of a tiered tray I had at fall time and was able to fill that photo mat with a photo. So I like how that one turned out. Sorry, I feel like I'm not showing the layouts very well, but there's the clusters. So I used some stitch dies to make the bases for the clusters. Again, that stitched scallop circle die. Here's another layout using that Vicki Boutin. I think I called it Print Shop, but I think it's the Discover. I think it's called Discover, the collection. And so I had everything done except for the photos on this layout. Used some of the paper strips, the edge of the paper, and just did a big cluster here, and then one there, and then a little one here. And it says Lovely Little Moments for my title. And I knew when I used this paper collection that I wanted to use some outdoor travel photos, and we had stopped on our way through BC at the Giant Cedars Nature Trail, and so I took a photo of my husband in front of the big cedar tree and a picture of the sign, and added those to the layout, and I really like how this one turned out. This one was using that same summer collection and a sketch I've used before quite a few times, and I had everything done on this layout. I kind of wish I had put a mat behind this photo. I think it kind of needed that, but I remembered there was red in this scooter and that there was kind of this turquoisey blue in the photo, and so I thought that would go well with this collection and this layout. So, and there's red in his hat as well. So I've got a little cluster up here, and then another one here, and then there as well. This was a layout I've had done for probably 3 years, and it's using a Simple Stories collection. I think it was kind of more for gardening, floral photos, and that was going to be my intention when I made this layout. But I had these pictures of our dogs, and I don't know, I think they still look good on here, even though it's kind of more of a, gives you a floral vibe. And so then I added the title Today, and did these little clusters here, and somehow I think it all works together. Let me know what you think. This is a more recent layout that I had made, but didn't have a photo on, and I think I did this at the end of last year or the beginning of this year, but I mostly scrapbook at retreats, so I know it was either at the November retreat or the January one, but on this one I had everything done. I just needed to add the photo. This is using a Vicki Boutin line. So I had this cluster all made here, and then this one as well, and this little one here. I used some circle punches, then this here to add journaling if I decide to do that. And then I thought the title could just be Good Vibes Only. And for this one, I honestly didn't care if the photo really matched or not. I just really like this photo, and I think it looks okay on here. So again, I don't fuss too much about, you know, unless it looks totally hideous, I have no problem printing a photo that maybe doesn't match perfectly. Or maybe doesn't have the same vibe as the layout. Like that kind of more gardening one with the dog pictures on it. This one is using that same collection, I believe, from Vicki Boutin. And I hadn't scrapbooked a lot of photos of our dogs, and we really love our dogs. And so my goal was to have photos of dogs on layouts. And I'm not really a themey scrapbooker, so I don't have like a lot of dog stuff in my stash, and I didn't really want to start buying dog themed things, so I felt like this would be okay with having dog pictures on it. So it says love days like these, and had everything on here except for the photos. So I've got some floral clusters here and a cluster there, another cluster down here. Are these outdoor dog pictures even? No, they're in our house, but I just really wanted to scrapbook these two pictures. This is our dog laying her little head on Sarah. Her name's Maggie, and this is another picture of Maggie. She's holding a stuffed toy that almost looks like a live animal, but it is a stuffed toy. But yeah, I really like how that turned out, and I liked using this pre-made kind of background as the background for the page, and I believe this was based on a sketch as well. This one I thought was a fun sketch design. You know, everything's kind of at an angle. This is using that same Jen Hadfield collection that I used on a couple of layouts that were kind of more schooly themed. This is a picture of my son at school, but I turned it into black and white, and you can't tell in the photo that it's at school, but I know it was taken at school. And so all I had to add was the photo, and I really like how this one turned out. Thought this was a really fun sketch idea. Oops. This one is using a Simple Stories spring collection, and I believe this was based on a sketch as well. So I've got a cluster here, and then I had this title already on here saying Spring Memories, and this cluster as well, and down here. And we had gone, and our son lives in BC, and so we drove halfway and he drove halfway, and we met in Revelstoke and stayed there over a spring weekend and went touring around. And so it was the first time meeting their youngest daughter too. So I added some photos of the town and some crocuses we found along the way, or lilacs, not sure what those are. And then a picture of my husband holding our youngest grandchild. So yeah, I thought that worked well for that layout. But when I made the layout, I had no idea what I was going to put on it. Okay, so now all these next ones are either kits I bought or classes I took, so they are not my own inspiration. So I just thought I would let people know that before I share them. Where am I at here? 18 minutes. I think I will try and get these in this layout. So this was a double page layout, and this was from Simple Stories. It's those kind of pre-made backgrounds where you add all the embellishments in the photos, but like all this, it looks like it's layered, but it's just flat. It's just like a scan of a actual layout, I guess. And so I put these together. I've had these in my stash for a few years at least, and knew when I bought the kits that I wanted to eventually put pictures of our yard in there. So I made sure that there was no adhesive behind these stickers so I could tuck the picture behind on the mat. And so this is our front yard here. We made this garden bed bigger last year, and so these are photos from last year of the front of our house. I really like to play in the yard and plant flowers, so then I took close-ups of flowers last year and added those on the squares there, and then added some more of the plants that I'd planted. And then a little display I have on one of the garden beds with a ladder and some decor in that photo there. And so yeah, I thought those turned out really fun. Again, that was a Simple Stories page kit that I bought. Same with this next one, and again, I think these all came together. I think it was a set of 4 layouts, and again, when I bought it, I wanted to make sure I put gardening photos on them. So this is another picture of our front yard, just at a different angle of the bed. And again, made sure that there was no adhesive behind. I just kind of put adhesive on the edge there and then tucked the photo underneath. This is a picture of our delphiniums, and they just were so beautiful last year. They really filled out really nicely. And of course, all the title and everything else was already down. And then I just printed some more photos, printed them to 3x4 size on my selfie, and added the photos here. And if I decide to do some journaling, I have a spot to do journaling here, or I may just leave it blank. So just added pictures of some of our, I have a lily bed, and these were some of the beautiful lilies and Gerber daisy, and I'm not sure what these flowers were here, but yeah. This one was from a class that I took. I think it was a Crop and Create. I think it was a online version of Crop and Create since COVID. And so I didn't get many of the classes done. I still have a lot to do, but this was one of the ones I did. And so it was a 2-page layout. And I just printed some photos from one of our trips to Spokane. I think this was last year, and just put them in the spots where photos went. Took a picture of the Target dog, and then we were going on a boat cruise, so I took a picture of the boat, and then all of this was done. Just had to add the photos. And then this was the other page to the layout, so we did like 3 strips of paper on the wood background, and there's kind of like places to add photos, and there was some tags and some clusters of embellishments throughout the layout. And so I just printed some photos of different things we did or ate on our holiday and printed them to 2x3. And I could have done a 4x4, but I wanted to add more photos, so I did 2x3. So ice cream and a drink that I had at Texas Roadhouse called the Porch Rocker, such a yummy drink. Then us on the cruise, and then we went and had prime rib one night at this little gas station restaurant. It was delicious. And then we bought some chocolates at a little market near Kennewick, and so I took pictures of that. So yeah, that is that layout. Just about done, people. I know these are long videos, but I don't want to do a 4th part. Or maybe this is the 4th part. I'm kind of losing track. Okay, this was a layout that I did during a class. For the class, we worked with using cut-aparts in our layouts, and we could either buy the collection that she used, or we could bring our own collections, and I brought my own collections to use up because I have so many collections I need to use. And so this class was taught by Nadine, and I'll put a link to her her YouTube channel. She is Paper Route Scrapbooking, I believe, on YouTube. And so I kind of wanted to do a home or family type picture for this layout. This is using a Simple Stories family type collection. I can't remember the name of it, sorry. But I thought another opportunity to put a picture of our dogs. So we have 4 wiener dogs in total, and 3 of them were sitting nicely on the couch one day. So I remember I had this photo, so I added that photo to the layout. And so she had us fold down the one corner, and then we cut another piece of pattern paper to put in the back because it's just on a cardstock background, and used a cut apart there, and yeah, turned out really nice. And I believe this layout was from that same class. using cut aparts again in the layout. And I think this is a different collection. I think this is a Carta Bella collection because the paper feels like a Carta Bella paper. And so I had everything done except for the photos of the house. And I thought I'd go with outdoor photos. I don't know, my decor inside is kind of usually themed for the different holidays. And I thought I would go with outdoor pictures rather than family pictures because I had printed off quite a few family pictures. So that's what I did, and I just sized them to 4x4, and yeah. These were another class I took with Nadine, and this one I did buy the collection that she used for the class because I really liked this collection. And can't remember what the theme of this was. Was it using tags, maybe? Using the paper in different ways. Oh gosh, I can't remember. I want to say using tags and paper in different ways from the collection. So this one we cut a lot of the tags out and did some layering of the embellishments. And then again, I used some pictures of my fall decor inside for the photos. Even though I don't have a lot of fall photos, I thought my decor would look nice on the page, and it does. So I like how that one turned out. This one we, this was a Simple Stories line, but sorry, I want to say apple cider or something it was called. I can't remember. This one we cut the paper up and then cut some of the hexagons out and pop them up over the piece of pattern paper that we cut from a piece of paper that was all hexagons, and had everything all done ahead of time. And I think we used some washi on this layout as well. Here she gave us a roll of washi, and I just added a photo of, I leave a Christmas tree up year round, a skinny tall tree, and I decorate it for all the holidays, and this is my fall themed tree, and then some more of my decor for inside the house. And then this one, we used a bunch of the tags and just cutting the paper down, using a tag up here. And this one says nuts about you. So again, I used one of those photos from the photo shoot we did in the fall there when our boys were younger. And yeah, again, this was using a pre-digital camera, so they weren't the greatest photos, but it's what I have to work with. And I wanted to get that in a layout. And then this one was using that cut apart class again, and I believe she had some cut aparts for some of these, but I decided to just use photo mats that were small here instead and just do a bunch of photos because I wanted to do some summer holiday kind of layouts. So I grabbed another collection from my stash for this one, and I believe this is a Simple Stories collection. And added this watermelon sticker from my stash. It wasn't part of the collection. And some puffy stickers from my stash. Added some twine to the layout after I added the photos, but everything else was done. We tore the paper at the top here. And then again, these are just photos of us on our cruise that we took while we were in Coeur d'Alene. This one was another one using cut aparts. These were both cut aparts as well, but I wanted to use them as photo mats for the, or placements for the photos. So used some things from my stash. I believe this was a Dollar Tree sticker, I want to say. Same with this flower, same with this flamingo, same with this little one here. And I think it's using the same collection as this other summer one. And again, just kind of scrolled through my photos that were during the summer on my phone, and I had one of my granddaughter, took her to the water park, and then one at our local arboretum. So printed those off and put those there, and the title was Days of Summer, which was a cut apart. This was part of another class I did with Nadine from Paper Roots Scrapbooking, and it was using washi, and this one was using washi as your background. And so we did this class, I want to say a year or two ago, at least a year ago. And it was like a really busy background, so I was looking through some photos again during summer, and I'd taken my granddaughter to the zoo, and I just thought this kind of went with all the busyness of the layout. And this is using a Vicki Boutin paper collection for the embellishments. I think maybe a few different older ones even, and all of these washi, I believe all of them are Vicki Boutin washi from different collections. So I just put them on this Swiss dot basil paper, and then did a black 12 by 12 border around it. And then there's one of her sitting in this kangaroo. And so yeah, there's a little cluster here. I already have the title down, and a little cluster there as well. Love how that one turned out. That was a fun class. It's a great way to use up washi, and I love washi and I have a lot of it. So I've done this layout a few other times since then, using that same premise as washi as a background. This one we used washi for that class again, and this one she showed us how to put washi on a piece of cardstock, and then we punched it out with a edge punch. So that's washi down there, and then this is washi up here. I did some stenciling. She did stenciling on her background, and then we used like something circular like a plate and just kind of drew some scribbly circles. And I need to do more stenciling like that. I really like that. And this is all using Vicki Boutin stuff. I think this is Fernwood. So I had the layout all done. All I had to do was add the photo, and I added this photo of a family shoot that my son and his wife did with their kids, and I really think that looks great on there. So this was from an in-person crop and create event, and I've had this layout in my stash for, well, it's before COVID. I want to say 2016, 2017, if not earlier, back when Crop and Create did in-person events and had the layout all done. All I needed was photos. So I was really happy to get some photos on this layout. For this class, we used stamps, and we did some stamping with Versamark, and then heat embossed it with white embossing powder. So that was fun, and everything was on here, like I say, except for the photos. So I remembered there was some pictures on Facebook of them at the beach with these big pink hats on, and this kind of had some kind of girly vibes to it, and so I added those photos. My granddaughters, I just printed them to 4x4 and added them. This was another class during a Crop and Create in-person event, and I really liked the layouts at the time, but I really struggled on what to put on them. And then I thought, why couldn't I put pictures of flowers from our yard? So, because it kind of had a gardening theme to it with the water can, and it says garden, and then kind of this truck with all the flowers in it, fresh cut flower bouquets. I thought, well, why not? And so this was the layout that we created during the class. We used some twine, cut some banners, doilies, little cluster here. I think this is some Maggie Holmes, and I think this is a Cartabella paper collection. More pictures of my delphiniums there, and then this beautiful Rudbeckia, I think it's called. Kind of like a false sunflower, maybe. It's all really pretty. And then this next one is a 2-page one, and this was also a Crop and Create class. Now this one, again, I didn't know what photos I was going to put on this. This layout's been in my stash for a while. It's a double-page one. And I remembered for their photo shoot for Christmas this year, my one granddaughter had this kind of emerald green dress or sweater, and her sister kind of had one with browns in it. And there's kind of this peachy kind of brown in the layout. And even though those are Christmas pictures and these are kind of florals, I just think they really look good on there. So you can tell me what you think. So we fussy cut all this out here. It's like a wreath. We fussy cut that out, and yeah, it's a really pretty layout. I want to say this is using maybe Maggie Holmes. I don't know. This is giving me Maggie Holmes vibes, but maybe we mixed a few different collections because sometimes they did that. But yeah, how cute is that? And those photos are just precious. And then this is the second page to that layout. And I don't know, I think the quality on the selfie is really good here. She has blue in her hair that isn't from the photo. She, I think, put some blue in her hair there. But yeah, didn't that turn out great? Really looks great with that layout. And then this one was using that what do you call it? What is that paper line called? Carta Bella line again. And so this one, I decided to use some summer photos, and everything was on the layout except for the photos. So these were from a summer vacation we took years ago. We used to go to this lake in BC, in Vernon, and camp there, and so these were photos from that vacation. Okay, last layout, everybody. Wow. If you stuck with me through all the parts, I really appreciate it. Hopefully I've inspired you. So this one, again, was a crop and create class, and this is probably one of the older ones in my stash. And yeah, like, layout's been done forever. I didn't have, or no, the title was on there. Sorry, the title was on there. So all it needed was a photo, and yeah, not sure why I picked this photo. I think just that it was a 4-generation photo of my husband, his dad, and my son and his daughter. He had a little girl with his girlfriend at the time while he was in high school, and so sadly my father-in-law is no longer with us, but I wanted to document this photo. And so yeah, couldn't even tell you what collection we used on this one. I want to say Fancy Pants. For some reason this looks like Fancy Pants flowers, but yeah, really cute layout. Cut out some paper that had scallops on it to make a little kind of trim there, and yeah. So yeah, that is all the layouts. I believe it was like 66 layouts or something crazy like that. So hopefully I've inspired you to take out your collections, play with the papers, and maybe you'll even give it a try making layouts without photos on them. I know it isn't for everybody, and I don't claim to think my way is the best way or the only way to do it. I think you should do what makes you happy and what gets you creating layouts and playing with your stash. So if you have any questions or want to know where something's from, just put a comment down below. I love to read your comments, and if you're not already a subscriber, I would love to have you as one. Be sure to hit the notification bell so you get updates whenever I upload a video, and be sure to hit that like button. It really helps the algorithm for my channel and helps my channel to get out there to more people. So until next time, take care and bye for now.